Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Yet another in our 2020 Houndsite. I'll never will get used to saying series. Now, this is 2004 we're dealing with this time, and it's The Roof of the World, which was main range release number 59, which takes us rather nicely from Flip Flop, which takes us from the, well, let's face it, it's 2003, which was the anniversary year, hence the reason of the next releases, all the way through. So let's go and have a look at what we've missed. Post Flip Flop, you've got Omega, Cracking Tale, Fifth Doctor, and Omega. Oh, is it? Well, that's a great story by Nev Fountain. Followed by Davros, cited by lots of people as one of their favourites. It's very dark, very good. And then The Master by Gary Russell, all written, well, no, not by Gary Russell, I apologise. This one's by Joseph Lidster. Again, it's the Seventh Doctor, so you've got 5, 6, 7. And then finally you've got Zagreus, which follows on. Yes, well, we've covered Zagreus, haven't we? That's got the 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th Doctor, Charlie, Romana, K9, and all sorts. The weight between bringing us up to Zagreus was so laden and so heavy that it couldn't possibly have reached our expectations. But that's just my own personal opinion. The Wormery. That was a 6th Doctor and Iris Wildtime. Yeah. Shazaro, perhaps my least favourite of all Doctor Who stories. Which then brings us into an 8th Doctor season, which is for me the low point of the entire Big Finish run. I never liked the alternative universe, the Divergent universe, which is weird because our forum got to be called that in the end. But you understand what I mean. Creed of the Crumman, Natural History of Fear, The Twilight Kingdom, Axis of Insanity. No, not for me. Arrangement for War, now that's a great story. I have massively good memories of that. The 6th Doctor and, of course, Evelyn. Then you've got The Harvest, which is the 7th Doctor, Hex, and the Cyberman. Now, that one fits later and with the other Cyberman story that's coming our way, but that's for another time. Which brings us to The Roof of the World. Here's the synopsis for that. Tibet, 1917. It's a time of great exploration, with intrepid teams of adventurers heading blindly into uncertain territory, determined to beat the inescapable odds and overcome any challenge they encounter. But some things are not necessarily that easy to defeat. An ancient evil, perhaps older than time itself, is stirring deep within the heart of the Himalayas. It's always known it would return to finish off what it started so many centuries before, but the time has to be right. As the TARDIS materialises with the Doctor determined to take full advantage of his invite to a cricket match, the catalysts that the dark forces need unwittingly arrive. Written by Adrian Rigglesford. Directed by Gary Russell. It's got Peter Davison as the Doctor, Caroline Morris as Eminem, Nicola Bryant, Perry, Edward D'Souza as Lord Davy, William Franklin playing Amhotep II, bit of a giveaway on that one. And yeah, I like Eminem. I do. We did used to call her M&M, me and my mate Andy. But you know what? That's fine, calling her things like that. It's acceptable. It's the way things are. What isn't acceptable is that my memory of this story was a bit vague at best. It hadn't exactly left huge narrative-based scars in my psyche. I just kind of accepted it for what it was and moved on. It was just one of those stories you listened to, you enjoyed, and that was it. Now, listening to the re-listen Well, that's been a bit of a revelation. Cracking story, superbly acted, and the bit, well, I can talk about these spoilers from 2003. Good Lord, I remember listening to this afresh. Aramem is a great character. She is limited in her world experiences, and as she grows and learns more about the world, she becomes less and less different, if that makes sense. But of course, she'll always have her original empathetic views on the world and the way that life and history treated her. Yes, we've established that the whole of history has forgotten her, but that's not a bad thing. I've thoroughly enjoyed her journey, and through everything it's been a great, great thing. And it's such a sadness to believe that the person is giving up acting completely. And I, for one, would love to hear her come back and give us at least, well, a short trip or two. Perhaps that's what I'll do for this year's Paul Sprague's memorial story. Because you know what? If you just enter enough, one day you might get through. Possibly. If they run the competition for the next 3,000 years, I might stand a chance. All I have to do is, well, keep entering. And be available to enter. That's not important, I am rambling. Yes, a lot of people knew that this story was set on the roof of the world. I know it's basically from Marco Polo, but that's fine. So everyone, of course, instantly assumes it's the Himalayas or the Yeti are coming back. They're not. It's a returning, no villain at all. People return from Big Finish stories, but no TV villains return. That makes sense, doesn't it? There's a whole bit of the story, of course I can talk about this now, where you believe or are meant to believe that she's dead. And it's the story from her point of view. There's a lot of trickster behaviour, people pretending to be other people, which of course gives actors a lovely excuse to put on slightly different versions of their own character, so that the audience goes, I spot that one, got it, yes. Got that, worked the whole thing out, superb. But you know what? I underestimated this story. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to hearing more of them. Because I know that my next story, my next big listen, is another Aramem story. It's one of my personal favourites, The Council of Mycenae. I know, me liking a pseudo-historical. In fact, no, worse, me liking a pure historical. Who would have thought it? But that's for the future. That's for another time. And that's 2004. Back in 2003, this was a cracking story, and the real celebration of the anniversary of Doctor Who was happening here on Big Finish. Nowhere else. So with that, I'll let you hear the trailer and decide for yourself. So until next time, well, I'll probably be talking about Doctor Who. Be seeing you.
Doctor Who. The Roof of the World.
Why have we stopped?
Can't quite see. It appears to be some sort of commotion going on just ahead of us. Beggars are swarming around somebody. I think he's trying to reach us. Good afternoon. Are you heading for the cricket match? Can we give you a lift?
I can't. Not here. If I try, the crowd could turn against me. They might try to stop me.
No! No! That's not possible! You can't be!
Anan Madarak Sandaga, Sanctus
Aramem, over there, beyond the gateway leading to the hotel, I'm sure I could see the man who spoke to us in the street.
I don't see anyone.
No! Please, no, take them away!
Out! I was only trying
Aramem, it's okay, they're gone.
Farewell, my lady. We'll meet again.
On Saturday the 30th of August 2019, the return of Hooverville. Guests announced so far: Ingrid Oliver, Osgood; Sophia Miles, Madame Pompadour; Nabil Shaban, Syl; Christopher Ryan, Lord Kiv; and General Stahl in the Sontarn Stratagem; Edward Russell, formerly Doctor Who brand manager; Rob Ritchie, 3D animator on the Macroterra; Keith Barnfather from Real Time Pictures; Chris Chapman, Doctor Who VAM producer; James Burgess, model maker on Mission to the Unknown remake. Sponsored guests include Michael E. Bryant, director, and Simon Fisher Becker, who played Dorian Multivar. Some guests are still to be announced, so keep an eye on the website. And tickets are available from the Derby Quad's website. See you there.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.